Despite their recent winning streak, the Phoenix Suns' 2024-2025 season has largely been remembered for their disjointed roster and turmoil in the locker room, leading to one of the most frustrating experiences for everyone in it. While most will point to the Bradley Beal trade as the falling point, there may be one coaching move even worse than that, one that may have tanked the Suns' season. For some context, the Suns invested a ton of money and picks into the roster that is primarily focused on shooting and scoring. As a result, they really needed to find players that could provide energy and defense through their limited draft picks. The first player they selected was Ryan Dunn, a defensive-minded forward from Virginia. With his big frame and lateral quickness, the Suns threw him in the fire by having him guard the opposing team's best player every night. Despite the lack of experience, Dunn held his own. His length allows him to contest these high-release jumpers, and maybe most importantly, he gave Booker and Durant much-needed rest on the defensive end. The second player the Suns drafted was center Oso Ighodaro. While he was relatively small for a big man, Ighodaro made up for it with his IQ, as he was known for his playmaking and mobility as a big, something the Suns didn't have at the 5. While they made some rookie mistakes, Dunn and Ighodaro had balanced out the Suns' roster and given them a defensive identity. As they continued getting acclimated, their high energy and scrappiness shined through, and the Suns started to make a real push, going 6-2 to start the month of January. Both rookies had just played 20 plus minutes in a strong win against the Wizards, and it looked like the Suns had figured out their new rotation. But that's when things got weird. In their very next game, Bud decided to only play Ighodaro 5 minutes against the Pistons, but they were able to squeak out a win. But in their following game against Cleveland, the Suns were blown out by 26 points, and Ighodaro only played 8 minutes that night. Just 4 days later against the Wizards, Ryan Dunn injured his ankle after playing just 2 minutes. The Suns were able to hold off the Wizards, but more importantly, they found out that Dunn didn't have to miss much time. In fact, he came back just 2 games later, but just played 9 minutes in a loss to the Timberwolves, where Anthony Edwards dropped an easy 33 points. This began a 2-month stretch where Bud had essentially phased Dunn and Ighodaro out of the rotation. Preferring to choose all offensive lineups, their minutes fluctuated, ranging from 15 to as little as 2 minutes a night, and the results were obvious. You see, no one on Phoenix had the mindset to really guard the opposing team's best players, and they struggled to defend, especially down the stretch. On February 12th, the Suns were tied at 104 against the Houston Rockets. Without Devin Booker playing that night, Coach Bud decided to roll with Plumlee, Bol, and Tyus Jones to close out the game. With multiple mismatches, the Rockets' game plan was to put Jones and Plumlee in the pick and roll. The Rockets are up 2, and Green runs that pick and roll to go into a wide open step back 3 to push the lead up to 5. 2 possessions later, it was Bol's turn, and Dillon Brooks pops to the 3-point line for a wide open shot. Seeing that Bud wasn't going to change his rotation, the Rockets do the same exact thing, and they get the same exact result. In just 3 minutes, the Rockets push the lead up to 9, and it was over. But things escalated in their next game against the Spurs. Even without Wemby, the Spurs were still able to get whatever they wanted against the Suns' defense. Fox in particular got into the paint at will, and as a result, the Spurs had a 6-point lead with about 4 minutes to go. Despite what had been going on, Coach Bud went small with Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal alongside the Suns' big 3. With Allen on the court, Fox decides to hunt him, and as he drives, Allen can't keep up and has to foul him. Next possession, the Spurs do the same exact thing. Fox again attacks downhill to his right and puts a little chicken wing before finishing it home with the and 1. With the game slowly getting out of reach, the Suns didn't come up with an adjustment, and Fox is able to turn the corner again and get free throws. At that point, Kevin Durant had enough and told Coach Bud straight up, "You need somebody who can guard." Despite the feedback, Bud didn't sub anyone in, and this happened.
Fox, hard drive, flips it in.
The Spurs would end up winning this game with Dunn and Ighodaro only playing 20 seconds combined. As a result, the Suns dropped to 2-8 since the coaching move. Fans were outraged by the decision to bench them. People couldn't understand his thought process, especially as they've seen the product on the court without their best defenders. When asked about the decision to bench Ryan Dunn, Bud said this.
Yeah, I mean, we mapped out a 9-man rotation, so, and then we tightened it from there. So I think we went with the guys that we thought both ends of the court. We got to be able to make plays defensively, offensively.
In their very next game, the Suns faced some deja vu against the Toronto Raptors. With 5 minutes to go, Devin Booker finished a running layup to cut the lead down to 5. With the Raptors timeout, Bud faced the same decision again. Who was going to close out the game with the Suns' big three? Despite the backlash, Bud stuck to his guns and kept Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal in the game. It paid off initially with Allen hitting a 3 on the fast break to cut the lead to 2, but then this happened.
Allen, who shoots the darn 3 at a pretty good clip as well.
Boucher's gonna let it fly. 4 dimes. Grady to Quick with the open 3. Quick up fake with confidence. Kicks it. RJ.
In total, the Raptors went on a 17-4 run capped off by this RJ Barrett 4-point play to push the lead to 17 in a 4-minute span. Despite the need for defense, Dunn and Iguodala only played 8 minutes combined. Through all of this, the one guy that was getting consistent playing time was Mason Plumlee. While he was a veteran, teams saw him as a target point. He's not laterally quick, so he would have to drop on the pick and roll, and it would let guys just step into easy pull-up shots. On March 2nd against Minnesota, Edwards and Randall took turns attacking Plumlee, and 17 of Randall's 20 points came from doing just that. It also didn't help that he wasn't contributing on the offensive end either. While his best attribute is his passing, he would definitely push his limits, which really upset Kevin Durant.
Steal. How about the defense that Royce and Grayson have played in this first half? Plumlee behind the back pass. That one got away.
All in all, the Suns' defensive rating ballooned from 114 to 120, and they went 7-14 during this stretch, including losing games to the Trailblazers, Pelicans, and Wemby-less Spurs. The Suns had dropped to 30 and 35 and had fallen out of the play-in. It wasn't until March 12th when Grayson Allen sat out with a knee injury where Coach Bud had no choice but to play Ryan Dunn. And in that same game, Mason Plumlee made his most important contribution of the season.
Get locked up with one another. That's the last guy you want. He takes him down.
Plumlee was ejected from the game, and with only Bol as their other big man for the night, Bud didn't have a choice but to put Iguodala in the game, and he made his presence felt.
Cam was open for a moment. Looks to shake loose. Had it blocked. Straight games, which is insane. Rockets get it back. Offensive rebound. They stay with it. Jabari got hung on.
At the same time, Ryan Dunn had his fair share of blocks and great defense, so despite the loss, it was clear. These two rookies were the pieces the Suns needed to give themselves a chance. In their next game against the Kings, Bud finally made the decision to enter Ryan Dunn back in the starting lineup. With the two rookies playing 32 minutes apiece, they made their presence felt all night, and the Suns had one of their best wins of the year, beating Sacramento by 16 points, and more importantly, held them to just 106 points. With the two rookies finally playing significant minutes, the Suns have gone 5-1 with great wins against the Cleveland Cavaliers and Milwaukee Bucks, and the results aren't coincidental by any means. During Dunn's benching, the one thing Bud was concerned about was his shooting. He's only shooting 30% on threes for the season, but he's been able to make an impact in other ways, primarily cutting to the basket. With defenses primarily focused on Booker and Durant, there's opportunities in the short roll, and Dunn has been able to get behind the defense. He's been strong at driving off the catch with momentum to beat the rotating defender and can find the open man as well. Dunn also has a knack for grabbing offensive rebounds, even getting this one from the free throw line to put it back in. With his athleticism and desire to do the dirty work, he's been able to create more opportunities and second chance points. Regarding Iguodala, his lack of experience may have made Bud more hesitant to play him. Yes, he's had his rookie moments, but he really oversaw all the things he brought to the table. The first one being his passing. Unlike Plumlee, Iguodala stays within himself and makes the right pass, especially in short roll situations. But more importantly, he's comfortable with the ball in his hands. His primary shot right now is the floater that he uses, especially in pick and roll situations. But he can also attack off the dribble, especially if the defense is sagging off of him. On defense, Iguodala is the only center that can really switch. As mentioned before, Plumlee's lack of mobility really hurt the Suns' pick-and-roll defense, as teams can create good ball movement and open shots. But with Iguodala's ability to switch, the Suns' defense isn't in constant rotation, and he's been comfortable enough to handle his own. With the help from Dunn and Iguodala, Donovan Mitchell only shot 2 for 18 from the field, and the Suns pulled out their best win of the season. The point here is that no one really believes that Dunn and Iguodala are going to save the Suns' season. There's still a lot of problems with this team, including how to get rid of Bradley Beal. But given the fact that Bud had already seen what Dunn and Iguodala could provide, and the fact that he ignored them for basically 2 months to play an all-offensive lineup, this bizarre and unnecessary coaching move put the Suns in a really tough spot, which now has a team with KD, Booker, and Beal fighting with the lowly Dallas Mavericks for the final play-in spot. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, like and subscribe. You can support me on these platforms. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.